Welcome back to the ticker. I'm Akiko Fujita. Checking the market action, we are seeing stocks extending their gains. A bit of a rebound here, although after yesterday's 767-point drop, maybe not entirely surprising. The Dow up 256 points right now. Let's give you a quick recap of the tickers we're covering in the show today. Our first ticker was AMD. Its stock seeing a volatile day of trading after a report that its CEO Lisa Su may be jumping ship for the number 2 position at IBM. Su, however, tweeting out a response to the report saying that there is, quote, zero truth to the rumor. Second ticker, Take-Two Interactive. The video game giant is soaring after trouncing earnings expectations in its latest quarter, driven by strong sales for its NBA 2K19 and Red Dead Redemption 2 games. Our third ticker, SHAK. Its shares are skyrocketing, now up more than 16% after the company posted solid beats on the top and bottom lines in the second quarter. It's also raising its full-year guidance, revenue guidance, fueled by strong sales overseas. We are checking the closing price of oil. Crude is slipping below that $55 a barrel marker right now at $54.03. And this comes as concerns over U.S. trade negotiations with China are lingering and worries grow over slowing demand. Joining me now from the CBOE trading floor is Scott Bauer with Prosper Trading Academy CEO. Scott, I want to get to the oil moves in just a bit. I'm just curious to get your thoughts on the rebound that we're seeing in the market today. What do you think has been the trigger there?
You know, I'm not sure I trust it yet. And like you said, I'm down here on the floor, and this is the VIX pit here, and there's no business going on right now. It's not like there's any, sellers of the VIX calls that people have been buying over the last couple days, last week or so. There's been nothing here that I see triggering it. It could just be, that bounce, that intraday bounce. I mean, a couple hours ago, we were unchanged in the market after the big rally this morning, and it held unchanged. Not that that was a real big technical area, but it was a psychological support that, we never really got into the red today. And maybe that's what's going on here. And also the fact that we did get, if not negative, certainly some decent news out of China overnight that they weren't going to just absolutely trounce the yuan, that it was, going to handle above that 7 number. So, all that may be factoring in here, but I don't think the short-term volatility is over by any stretch.
We saw U.S. crude with its steepest one-day drop in 4 years last Thursday, sinking about 8%. What do you think is driving the oil price right now? I mean, there's the concerns about demand, there's the broader macro picture, but of course we also have factors like Venezuela and the U.S. Ramping up sanctions on Monday.
Yeah. So you have a couple of geopolitical risk headlines. You have Venezuela, which just came out with ramping up sanctions. We have what's going on in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz with, Iran and seizing these tankers, and yet oil is really under pressure. And we're seeing, it was up earlier today on the news out of Venezuela, couldn't hold any of those gains. And the reason we're seeing that pressure is, again, it's the tariffs with China, it's the global macroeconomy, it's the weakening demand. We're supposed to get numbers out of API later today, EIA tomorrow, that are going to show that there's a drawdown. I doubt it. And even if we do see that, there's still major headwinds going in here. And I would see a sub 50 in the price of oil in the next coming weeks, unless there's some major circumstance with Venezuela, Iran, something like that.
And Scott, finally, yesterday we saw a big flight to safety and gold hitting that 6-year high. Certainly you could argue, if you look at the market moves today, there's a bit of positive sentiment returning, and yet we're still seeing those safe haven assets pushing higher. How much higher do you think gold goes?
I don't think it has a lot to go here. It is the safe haven. It is where people are flooding, because at this point, if you look at the Fed Watch tool, there's 100% probability based in the marketplace right now that the Fed's going to cut in September. So, where are people going right now knowing that rates are going down in 6 weeks from now or so? They're going to gold. However, I think this rally is getting a little bit long in the tooth here, and I would not be surprised to see a bit of a pullback.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. Scott, appreciate your insights. Scott Bauer from the Prosper Trading Academy joining us from the floor of the CBOE.